I didn't really start acting until I was 27, and I didn't know who any of the great actors were or supposed to have been. I didn't know who Marlon Brando was or Montgomery Clift and all those guys, you know. The only actors who I knew were Steve McQueen, Clint Eastwood, and Charles Bronson.
There she is, the cop's wife.
Officer Sanchez is only the first of a series of attacks against the police, and these attacks are going to continue till the governor calls off the execution of Mingo Dawson.
Step back.
Scheduled for
Step
the 23rd
back.
of this month.
Come on, step back.
Kidnapping of the wife of police officer Sanchez is only the first of a series of attacks against the police, and these attacks are going to continue till the governor calls off the execution of Mingo Dawson. Scheduled for the 23rd of this
Step back
month.
away here. Come on.
Kidnapping of the wife of police officer Sanchez is only the first of a series of attacks against the police, and these attacks are going to continue till the governor calls off the execution of Mingo Dawson, scheduled for the 23rd of this month.
I just saw Case and his partner leaving the police headquarters. Looks like they're heading for River Road. What do you want to do, Perk?
Stack still at the Algiers turnoff?
Yeah?
Okay, you tell Stack to run him down. I want Hardcase dead.
The ones that count, the sophisticated assholes, the ones in New York and Los Angeles, and they didn't critique the movie as an art form. They went and they said, Michael, the movie is this, it's a racist film about a chauvinistic racist policeman. They didn't say but what it is, it's a guy who is trying to do his job as best he can, and there are obstacles or whatever. They came from this own little, you know, their little petty fucking point of view, which is a lot of bullshit.
Did you expect that?
No. Everybody, Michael said, look, you know, it's going to be, he knew something that I didn't know, because I think I was affected in an emotional way or whatever, much more than he's used to it, because you see, he's already been slit open by them, and he has, you know, a thing where it doesn't affect him. He's much more professional that way.
So he uses it.
And he uses it, and so you gotta, like he was telling me, Mickey, don't get upset, he says, this is what they want to do to you. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna stand for it. Whether I don't work anymore or not, At this point, I really don't care.
A man in Bangkok is saying something about... I'm not quite sure about what. But he's very angry about a group from Toronto that calls itself the Namsung.
Sister, you gotta be more precise.
It's going to be very difficult, Captain. It's been many years since we've heard the Hakka dialect spoken. They're talking around things, not about them.
Damn it, sister, that's the point. They're not gonna spell it out for you. This is drug talk. You gotta use your imagination.
Listen. You look like you don't eat enough to keep a bird alive. Why don't you have some real food?
Captain White, I've managed to live 75 years without your help, eating precisely what I'm eating now. My body fat is 12%. My blood pressure is 120/80. My lymphocyte count is 22%. And if you want to compare white blood cells and red blood cells, I might even outlast you, Captain. Red meat eater that you obviously are.
Copy that.
The perpetrator is saying he's flying into Bangkok next week. He's flying under another name.
Okay, he's making his move. I want you to get the DEA on his tail. Call the Bangkok police, whatever you gotta do to eyeball this scumbag while he's over there. I'm sorry, sister. I just wish the fuck I could go there myself.
Come on, back on the street.
That'll be the day the NYPD springs for a ticket to Hong Kong, huh?
You guys are doing a great job. Get up.
But you're not afraid of the thought of that you might want to stop?
Truthfully, yeah, I am. Yes. Because I love doing what I'm doing, and I have to learn to take the things not so personal,
Right.
because people get nervous, you know. So I have to watch myself very carefully, and so I can continue to do what I love to do, you know.
When I was younger in New York, a guy walked up to me on the street. And I was sitting there with a piece of paper. I was lost. I was in the village. Guy comes up and he says, can I help you? I must have looked lost. And I said, well, he says, do you know who I am? And I said, no. He says, well, my name is so-and-so. I won't give you his name. Jacques something, but I won't give you his last name. And I said, oh, you know, hi, hey, Mickey. You know? He says, where are you from? I said, well, I'm from Miami, you know. He said, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm trying to be an actor. I wanted to go to acting school and be an actor, da-da-da. He says, you don't know who I am? And I said, no. And he gave me this big spiel about he was a famous director, that he worked with Marlon Brando and Steve McQueen and all these people. And I said, oh, God, I'm thinking my lucky day. I'm in town one fucking week. He brought me up to his apartment. I was starving. I wanted to eat, but all he kept giving me were big glasses of wine. And I kept noticing young boys kept coming in and out. And then finally he's telling me about acting, that to be a great actor, you have to give all of yourself to one person. And I kind of didn't know what he was talking about, because he was very sophisticated, and it wasn't like, you know, he says, it's the only way. You have to give yourself to me. And I said, well, what do you know? And he insinuated that I had to, you know, like go to bed with him. And then he promised me a role. And I left that day, and I went back to the park. I was sitting there thinking, well, could I do it with him like real quick and get it over with? And I met with him 2 or 3 times, you know, and I chickened out. I just couldn't. I don't think I didn't want it that bad, you know, and maybe if he was a little better looking, you know, but not this big ugly guy. So, in other words, early on, I sort of made a decision that I didn't want to, like, you know, and that was bullshit anyway, but.
for me to took me down to meet some guy that, you know, was in jail.
You know, when Mickey is being that character, it's really not sort of like working with an actor. It's working with, you know, you're working with a psychopath.
Mickey Rourke is a very intuitive actor, and I admire that in actors. When he hits for real. The only thing, the problem is with if you are involved in violent scenes on a film, you have to watch for continuity. You know, if you end up with a black eye, you can't film for a few days.
I've done nothing but take chances for the last 10, 11 years with my career. So I feel like, let me stick with the formula. I'd rather be making what I make than sell out. You know, the diehards and movies like Rambo and the Schwarzenegger pictures, those are the movies that are, you know, that people keep wanting to make because they make so much money.